Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Fragile Decade presentation. My name is Sean McDermott. I'm the president of Summit Investment Advisors, and I'm joined here today with Jeannie Underwood-Cotner. She's a senior vice president at Global Atlantic Consultant. Let's talk about year two, which is about 4 years before you retire. We're going to continue on with the happiness pillars in focus. We're going to talk about money, income, and health. So, Jeannie, why don't you go ahead and take it away and let's talk about year two.
Okay, well, welcome to year two. All right, so let me share my screen here so you can see all the items that we encourage to cover during this time period. So we've entered year two, and so what do we want to cover this year? Well, there's a number of items here as we get closer to retirement. I think the first one of the most important ones. So year one, we talked about more money items, very, very important. Year two, we'll still talk about money items, but I think the first thing is, as we start this, is to really let's explore ideas for the future in retirement beyond money. Like, what is our life going to be like in retirement? Let's start talking about those things. Like, really, what do you want to do in retirement? What does your life look like in retirement? Let's start talking about those items. Let's start taking notes on those items. Sometimes people say, well, I don't know. And so I always like to ask this question. Okay, so let me ask you a question, and then how would you answer it? It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you're retired. What are you doing? And I think that question in itself, first of all, I think it's a very warm question. Like, I don't know. I think it can go a lot of different directions, but it's time to really start visualizing. Visualizing of what you want to do in retirement is very, very important. So we'll continue these conversations now. What we also want to cover this particular year is long-term care. Very, very important conversation is our long-term care needs for retirement. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable conversation, but I have to tell you what I've learned in all my research and in my own personal situation with my mother is that especially women want to have this conversation. So if this is an item that you've always wanted to talk about, but maybe you haven't brought it up, let's talk about it this particular year. This is very important. Don't just think about it as long-term care, as covering for long-term care, which that's what it's built for, but also think about this as protection for your overall state, protection for your loved ones. That's what that conversation is really all about. This is also the year that we want to talk about assessing life and disability insurance needs. If there's any gaps there, we want to make sure that we're covering that. We want to talk about healthcare. In all of the research, this is always a top 3 item, healthcare. What does healthcare look like in retirement? All right, so I've been used to this corporate provided, really nice healthcare plan. It seems to cover everything I need it to cover. I'm going to be leaving that behind, and now I'm stepping into retirement. What does healthcare look like in retirement? Let's talk about those. Let's talk about the different coverage options and make sure that you're comfortable with that. That causes a lot of stress for a lot of people. Estate planning checklist. This is the year we want to start getting our business in order. This is the year that we want to start collecting all the important documents. Let's start organizing. Let's make sure that all our business is in order. Everything is spread out these days with these type of these type of items, getting our business in order. So one thing that we encourage is a location cheat sheet. It's one thing to, we could have all of this taken care of, but if no one knows where it is, then it's like it doesn't even exist. So a location cheat sheet is important. And then also password documents, very important. Everything, especially if it's in digital form, everything is protected by a password. And so we have to make sure that we protect those passwords, but we have to make sure that there's someone, a loved one, someone knows what those passwords are. So the event of something happening, someone knows how to get to those very, very important documents. We want to take care of that this year, and then continue to do those spring cleaning exercises to get a handle on our spending, especially as we start to get a little closer to retirement. So Sean, those are really the ideas for 2 years into the Fragile Decade. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important checklists. And your health and healthcare, estate planning needs. One of my favorite quotes that I heard is, if you don't take care of yourself, where are you going to live? And, the pre-retirement and after your retirement, taking care of your body can obviously help you avoid very expensive healthcare costs and unhealthy retirement. So we take those exercises very seriously and really encourage our clients to get engaged with and involved with their health. The health insurance, I mean, it's a huge expense these days for retirees, especially ones that are retiring prior to Medicare age at age 65. Health insurance, if you're 60 years old and an early retiree and not on Medicare, it could be costing you $1,000 a month or more per person. So those are things you got to pre-plan for, with health savings accounts and Roth IRAs and things of that nature. And then, of course, the estate planning area. Eventually, if something goes wrong, you want your loved ones to be in good shape, and that could be everything from I think, Jeannie, what was that? You had told me about the average age of a widow in this country. What is that statistic?
Yeah, it's the average age of a female widow in this country is 59.4 years. So much younger than I ever thought.
Yeah.